I'm going to do a series this week on self image and the importance of self image in attaining goals. But let me first ask you a question. How do you see yourself? How would you define your self image? It's not just what you wear, how you walk, talk, how you act in certain groups. It's much deeper than that. But how do you see yourself? You see, self image is an important part of attaining the goals because Dr. Matthew Maltz wrote a book years ago called Psycho-Cybernetics. And it's a book I would recommend everybody reading. And it's a great study on self image. But in the book, he says self image sets the boundaries of an individual's accomplishments, meaning you're never going to outgrow your self image. So if you need to stretch for a goal, maybe it's a double stretch, you probably have to take a hard look at that self talk that's going on inside your head. Are you telling yourself you can do it? I am going to do it. I will attain my goal. Or do you go the other direction and say, it's a great goal, but it's never going to happen for me? It's too lofty. I'm not good enough. A lot of you fall into that category, and that's something you got to change. And the beauty of it is you can change it. We can sit back and change our own self image and move it in another direction. Henry Ford, one of the great success stories in American business history and the founder of the Ford Motor Company, had a great quote from about 100 years ago, and I've always loved it, and many of you have heard this before. But the quote was, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And it's a great depiction on where your mind is at. If you believe you can do something, you can do it. If you believe you can't, you're not going to. But the question is, how do we go about changing that self image? So, as I was studying over the weekend and reading through different books and excerpts, I wrote a lot of notes down because I found so many fascinating things about self image that spoke to me about myself. I read things and I went, boy, that book is talking right to me. Or I saw some things I thought, that's something I got to look at too, maybe perhaps change in myself or in my own thinking. But self image dictates a lot of how we do things. And the beauty of it is we can change it. But how do we change it? How do we say, I want to do something different? First, I would say, take a look at people that you believe model the behavior that you'd like to emulate. Maybe it's somebody, it's a colleague at work who's very gregarious in meetings. They're not afraid to speak out. They're not afraid to throw ideas on the table and discuss them. And perhaps you're the one that has a lot of ideas, but you tend to sit back and say little, don't offer a whole lot. I had a person I worked with years ago that I actually worked on this exact scenario with. She was phenomenal with ideas, but she never spoke up at meetings. Individually and privately, she'd come to me and say, I've got this great idea, and we'd talk about it. And certainly it was something we had to move forward. But in meetings, she was afraid. She thought people would laugh at her, ridicule her. What if they thought her idea was stupid? So her self image of herself was be seen, not heard. And she'd sit back and say nothing. And I told her, I want you to visualize yourself. I want you to take 15 to 30 minutes every day and meditate. Picture yourself as that individual who's in a meeting, not afraid to speak up. See yourself throwing the idea on the table, telling people why you feel it's a good idea, seeing everybody else engaging in that thought and having a discussion about it. Don't let yourself see it as, oh, they're going to pick it apart. They're going to ridicule me. After a period of time, we had a meeting, and I wasn't prompting her at all, but I was discussing a subject, and several people were involved. And all of a sudden, she said, I have a thought. And she threw this idea out on the table, and it was brilliant. And we all talked about it, we modified it, we took it to the next level, and it became the catalyst to move the project forward. The empowering piece of that came out of it was she saw in herself an ability she'd never seen before. She became more confident, was more vocal in meetings, not in a dominating way, but just not afraid to engage, throw out an opinion. It changed her world. Actually, it helped her elevate several levels further in her career. But see, she had a negative self image of herself. She thought people were going to laugh at her. Instead, they embraced the ideas she had. So you can change them. So think of someone that you may want to emulate. Nothing wrong with taking somebody's way of doing things and modifying it for your own behavior. The other thing to do is what I said earlier is meditate. See yourself in your goal in the present tense. See yourself as already having attained that goal. How do you feel? How do you look? How do you act? What do you say? Put yourself in that position and do that day after day, repetition over and over and over again. Eventually, that conscious thought will start to permeate your subconscious. That want of change will become a desire, and that desire will become a feeling that'll come into your body that'll end up as a result. And you'll see yourself attaining that change and moving it forward. I want you to think about that because you can do it and you can make the necessary changes. I wrote down here, I said, sit down, relax, visualize, believe it. Do it over and over again, day after day. Live the life you want to live. Write your own script. One of the things I was reading was people tend to be extras in their own movies. They see somebody else as a star, not themselves. Quit being an extra in your movie. It's your life. Live it. No one can alter your self-image but you. You can't be changed by anybody else. You can change it. So take control if you have things you want to change differently. I wrote down your self-image dictates how you walk, talk, act, and see the world. It's also from this that is how the world sees you. So if you're in a certain place today and you want to be in a certain place tomorrow, start making the changes in your life that'll put you there. Don't be afraid to step out and get out of that comfort zone. It's not conceit. It's a healthy awareness of who you are. I want to say that again. You changing yourself and becoming a different model is not conceit, and it's not saying that you're better than anybody. It's what I said here. It's a healthy awareness of who you are and who you want to be. Goals can be reached. Dreams can be attained. But in many cases, our self-image is holding us back. So be bold. Take a step back and look at what you need to change in your life to reach your goal. Don't allow yourself to dispel the goal and say, I can't do it, and walk away. That's easy. I used to say this to my managers in meetings all the time, actually to all my employees. I'd be in the meeting and I'd say, what is the easiest thing in the world that anybody can do, regardless of where you live, regardless of age, regardless of race, religion, economic standing? It doesn't matter. What's the easiest thing in the world that anybody can do? I'd get various responses back, but the answer is quit. The easiest thing in the world that anybody can do is quit. You can quit a friendship, you can quit a job, you can quit going to a sports team, you can quit dieting, you can quit, stop drinking and start drinking again, you can quit a marriage. It doesn't matter. The easiest thing in the world to do is quit. And you know what? We make it easier today because of social media. Send somebody a text, break up. Send them an email. You don't have to do it face to face. Used to be when I was younger, you have to make a phone call. You still have to talk to the person directly. But now it's through social media. I saw something the other day of a celebrity couple that broke up, and they broke up by the gentleman sending the woman a text saying, we're breaking up. He was afraid to face her directly. Makes you wonder what kind of relationship they had, but you see, the quitting is the easiest thing, and quitting on your goals is easy. And no one said it's going to be simple to do. Your goals are hard. We've talked about goals before, and a goal should be something that you set that literally scares you. You don't know how you're going to get there. I just know that this is my goal, and I'm not sure how I'm going to attain it. That's where the fun begins. That's where the journey begins. And if having to change some of your self-image to get to that goal is part of what you need to do, then you need to start there too. And take the steps that I mentioned earlier: meditating, visualizing, emulating others, self-talk. Don't allow negative talk to permeate your mind and tell you that your goal can't be attained. If you can think it, you can do it. It's a proven fact. The laws of the universe bear this out. So until tomorrow, think about your self-image. Remember the book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Matthew Maltz. You'll find it to be a great read, very insightful, help you change the course of your life for the better so you can attain the goals and dreams you have for yourself. Till next time, take care.